Hello, so what did we talk about in today's Sparkle session? My fabulous speaker, Sarah Browning, joined, and this is a kind of very short roundup of my key takeaways from the event for anyone who couldn't be there. So, fabulous Sarah Browning, she is the founder of her own communications consultancy. She's worked as freelance for about 15 years, successfully working with clients like universities in the public sector around their communications, helping them with communications, both internal and external communications. But she's got a big background in internal comms, which is where the title of the session came from. In that, when she started her career, she was part of the team of girls who did the newsletter, which was a somewhat dismissive label for what they did. And this was back in the 80s, and the discipline in the field of internal communications wasn't recognised or labelled. And actually, in her career since, she has become an expert in internal communications, and that's where, and that's what drew her to the role in the first place, is that, it's not just about newsletters, it's about building internal engagement, it's about helping employees do their best work, it's about building cohesiveness and community as a company. It's about so much more than just typing some stuff up and sending it by email. And her other venture is that 4 years ago she founded Time for Kindness, so she spoke a lot about kindness and both the rewards and the challenges of talking to people about kindness in the workplace. And her work is very much about bringing together her kind of passion and her flair in storytelling and communications, her love and her absolute belief that kindness is one of the most important things, if not the most important thing in our world, and bringing that together with how it can support workplaces to be better, people to be more engaged, be happier and perform better. And her work is all about noticing kindness, teaching people to notice kindness rather than teaching people to be kind. The idea being that there's quite a lot of kindness already there, and the more we notice it, and the more we create powerful stories about that to share it, actually the more kindness we all experience. So that kind of thing about getting really clear on the unique set of things that lead us to the work that we really want to do, we really have the energy for, that we really care about. So there is only one person who can do the work Sarah does, bringing together the threads that Sarah does in the way that she does it, and that's true for all of us. And I think all of us who are at this point in our life where we're running our own businesses in our 40s and our 50s and our 60s, and we've got to this point in our life where there are lots of things that are important to us and we blend them in a particular way, and that's the heart of the work that we do and why we love it so much. So that reminder that's true for all of us, is that only we can do the work we do, blending the threads that we blend in the way that we do it. And the flip side of that, of course, is that that means we're leading. We're always leading. And it can be tough to feel like, when we feel like we might be a lone voice saying, this is really important, the world is going to be better if we do it this way, I've got ways that we can make the world better, and to feel that we're shouting into the void, or it's a challenge to really grow our reach and to get more people on board and with the vision. And so my second takeaway is that Sarah was really generous, and this is a hallmark of her. She's very generous, very generous in being willing to say a little bit about the challenge of the gap between people saying, yeah, this is great, this is a great idea, I love what you're doing, and kind of, she describes it as being memorable. But I think it's more than being memorable. It's memorable, but also talking about something that people want, people value, but just because people are saying, this is great, we need more of it, I love what you're doing, that doesn't necessarily translate into cash and investment. Certainly it doesn't necessarily translate immediately. So that gap between interest and genuine appreciation for what we're doing and the financial sustainability of what we're doing, is it paying our bills? Are we making a sustainable business out of it? And Sarah talked about needing to keep her daughter in football boots. Which we've all got financial commitments that we need to keep, right? So she was willing to talk a little bit about that, and I think that's firstly really generous and also very brave. So I really respect and appreciate Sarah for talking about that a bit. And I think my third takeaway would be, how do we keep ourselves going? How do we keep the faith? How do we keep ourselves going? How do we support ourselves on when the fact there are going to be days when we feel like we're changing the world and it's happening, and there are also going to be days when we feel like it's not working, or not enough people are putting cash in, or we're not reaching enough people to kind of, one, make the difference that we really want to make in the world, but two, also to keep keep our financial commitments, right? Keep paying the mortgage, paying the bills and all the rest of it. And Sarah said something I absolutely loved about this. So she's got a painting in her office that I shared on LinkedIn a few weeks ago, and it's this kind of gorgeous, really bold painting. Sarah created it, it's her own work, of a woman kind of standing with her arms out in a beautiful red dress, and the caption, and it's got kind of sparkles in the background, and the caption says, "Be the hype woman." She was talking to me, she was talking to us about the idea of the hype person came from kind of gigs and gigging, and a lot of independent music and independent kind of bands would have a hype man or a hype person who wasn't one of the musicians, but their job, but they'd be on stage, and their job was to kind of get the crowd kind of more engaged, to whip up the crowd. And I've kind of got someone in my head saying, "Can you feel it?" So that idea of being the hype person for ourselves, or finding our own hype person, maybe if that's not you, but someone who helps big up the audience, helps big you up, helps remind us how amazing we are. I think that's a really, either tapping into that part inside ourselves that can be our own cheerleader, or maybe it's not, or maybe it's, it's and both, and finding the people in our lives who can really support us and who can help with that kind of cheerleading us. So yeah, that's my roundup.